Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. So, there is a lot of bearish sentiment out there in the market, as you guys know. For this reason, I want you guys to go and read my weekly newsletter because I think it backs up what I'm about to basically break down for you guys here. And what I'm saying is staying bullish amid the noise. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to get into a few different things on both sides of the aisle here, and I hope then you can understand my thesis as to what I'm trying to explain. Starting off with this, and I did cover this in this week's newsletter. This is showing that the most ever liquidity is above us for Bitcoin, meaning that the most short positions ever are above us. And so if we were going to top here, which a lot of people are expecting, and again, I'm getting into that in a second, if we were going to top here, I don't think the market makers would let the most ever people win in short positions that there's ever been. Okay, so that's a pretty logical thing to say. Every single time we get deep areas of liquidity, especially when they get this deep, they've been taken. Full stop, end of. And so what I'm basically saying is my base case is we go up. This liquidity chart at the minute is suggesting up to about 145k. I personally think we go higher than that this cycle. Excuse me. Adding on to that, I really implore you guys to go and watch this video from Raoul Pal. He posted it both on X and also over there on YouTube. It's him and Julian Bettel breaking down the Everything Code. It's an hour and a half long, and I think Raoul Pal is brilliant for the direction of travel. And the direction that Raoul Pal's, whether he calls the perfect top or not, that's a different discussion. I know he's made like calls that weren't exactly right in the past, but there's three things that I really want to take away from Raoul Pal's video here. And I want you guys to go and watch it because he backs it all with data, like tons of data. The first thing is he thinks 200k-ish Bitcoin by the end of the year, and then at some point next year, anywhere between 2 and 600k if we get all the way to the end of next year, potentially 400k in the summer, which could be the top. And then he explains why he thinks these things. That's one. Two is, this one was interesting, he obviously thinks we're going to 100 trillion for crypto over time. And in this video, for the first time ever, he suggests that Bitcoin will be like the gold of cryptocurrency. And by that, what he says and the comparison that he makes is gold in the legacy financial system is worth what, 20 trillion, and we have a $900 trillion market. So that's what he thinks Bitcoin will be like in the new $100 trillion crypto market, saying that basically Bitcoin will not be the winner. That's the suggestion. And thirdly, what was the third point? So we've got directionally, we've got what he's saying about gold. And the third thing, and I think this is super important as well, and I've made this point multiple times, is that he thinks, as I do, that people were scarred from last cycle, meaning that people thought last cycle was going to go higher. They didn't take profits heavily enough. And so because of that, they're then feeling more fearful about this cycle, and they're going to try and take profits earlier and get themselves hurt. He thinks that the likely scenario is in October, we will start to head up. He draws upon different liquidity measures and other things that have been going on in the short term. And you guys, as I said, go and watch that to find out all the details. It's definitely worth a watch. He thinks that we'll probably go up into Q4, like start in October, probably ending towards the end of the year. Bitcoin will end at 200k. Everyone will think, well, that's a very logical top. It's gone further than we thought. We're all going to take profits here. It's going to have a significant drawdown, and then it's going to set a much higher high towards the middle of next year, like Q2 of 2026. So whether he's right or not, I don't know, but his direction of travel is normally right, okay? So that's another thing to add to, okay, well, liquidity is telling us we're going to go higher. For the whole cycle, I've been projecting that we're going 150k plus. Nothing's changed here. So, with all that being said, I want to get on some short-term price action, some short-term catalysts that are happening right now. I want to add on to that, and what I discussed about in this newsletter here, is that actually right now sentiment is really, let me show you Fear and Greed. Just trying to get this all across to you all the time, guys. I'm going to show you Fear and Greed. I don't want to show you the alternative. I can show you both, it doesn't really matter, but the other one has a better chart. So we're at 50 today for Fear and Greed. Yesterday we were at 37. Fine, neutral, fear. That was yesterday. Let's see what Fear and Greed Index is doing on the Coin Market Cap one, because it has the actual chart overlaid onto Bitcoin price. So 39 today still. And when we've been in these fear areas, yesterday it got all the way down to 34, which is the lowest we've been since like the lows here. When we get down to these areas, it doesn't mean it's the exact low, but it does say that like the bottom's in-ish, or we're close to a bottom, so long as the bull market is still intact. And that's the point I'm trying to make. I still think we're going to go up over time. So that all being said, Bitcoin still has the 106k liquidity that we've been concerned about for a while. Nothing's changed. I've said 106k is the area to watch. Like, since this started back all the way here in June, I think it is. Is it June, July? In July, early July, we got this 106k liquidity. That's when it first came in, early July, okay? That's what I said. I said, look, when we make liquidity like this, especially when we get close to it, my laptop's struggling, especially when we get close to it, it starts to get taken. I'll give my laptop a second just to chill out, because I'm scrolling it all over the place. I'm going to give it a refresh. But what you can see is, clearly, we have deep liquidity below us at 106k. And it does go down to 104. So I'm not saying we can't take that. Full stop. That's what I'm looking at. I'm thinking, okay, well, we probably do take that 106, 104k liquidity. So I'm going to close my newsletter now, so I need to touch back on that. The extra thing I'm going to touch on is this price action here over the weekend is like sus, to say the most, or to say the least. And we've had a pop out of that to the upside with not really a lot of volume on an illiquid Sunday, and the hourly RSI is now massively overbought. Two things from this that you could take away. One is, I do actually think if we start to get breaks and closes on the higher time frame above like 113 and realistically above 117, but above 117 isn't really helping anyone, we can probably start to think, okay, well, are we going macro bullish again? As I've said, I do think in the longer term we do go macro bullish, and we don't have to take the 106k. Yet when we get this close, it's more and more likely that we're going to get it, okay? And I would feel much more comfortable saying, oh yeah, we're going up now, if we've taken that 106k, because then I don't have to keep saying, oh, but we do have liquidity at 106k, all right? I hope you're following along so far. This looks like manipulated price action. The price didn't really move. We popped up on a liquid Sunday. Interesting to see whether we do continue higher here. If we start to take the 114k level and start closing above there, I might have to come on here and say, look, actually, I don't think we will take the 106k because the market structure is shifting back towards being bullish, and we probably looking to continue to the upside, all right? But with all that being said, this is, like, I'm no geopolitical expert, I'm nothing like anything like that, okay? I'm not claiming to be. But what I am going to say is, US are moving, refueling planes, potentially towards the US, towards the UK. And on top of that, this is a really stupid metric, but pizza places around the Pentagon spiked and gay bars went down. And these are normally the opposite. And the last time these happened like this was when the US attacked Iran. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but wouldn't you think that a narrative like that, coupled with the liquidity here, could be the perfect story to really rope people into, or whatever it might be? I'm not saying Iran specifically. Maybe it's just a threat or whatever it is. Don't you think this would be a perfect narrative to entice bears into bringing the price down into 106k, maybe 104? All the bears take a victory lap. People saying, I told you so. The people who are on the fence go, oh shit, we are actually bearish. Look, we're going into World War III or whatever the narrative comes out as. All as the liquidity at 106k gets taken. And I'm not saying, look, the thing is, the other extra thing, I'll just add one extra thing to that, is I show you these areas of liquidity. Look, these significant lows. This is where people are going to have their stop losses here. That's that 105, 106k. This is the 106k between here and here. Their stop loss is going to be below this level, all the way down to here. And look, there also will be stop losses below this level here at 98. So if we get a strong push down and that closes people's positions, there is the chance of follow through down to this sort of area here. There is that possibility. I'm not saying that's impossible. But what I am saying is, we on this channel are looking to take long positions because what we've identified first is the direction of travel is up and the most liquidity ever is above us. So all of this bullshit in here is just that. In my opinion, it's just chopping. It's just chopping. Okay, where's it going to reverse? Is it going to be here and up? Or are we going to come down? Is it going to be here and up? And I don't know the answer to that question. Right now, I've said that the whole time. It's like, look, what we do as traders is, or people buying in the market, traders specifically, is we look for these areas where people are going to have their stop losses. And we say, okay, cool, that's where liquidity resides. That's where liquidity resides. where could we take trades if this liquidity gets swept? Where are we going to be trying to bid? Well, I'd be bidding, say if I'm looking at the 106k, 104k, because we've seen that liquidity on trading different, somewhere around here, 104k region. And if we lose that level, where am I going to bid? Okay, 97k, 98, 97k, just below this liquidity here. If we lose that region, I'll be bidding 92k. And if we come much below that, I'm going to start to have to readdress my thesis. Are we still definitely bullish? And that question comes into consideration. But we've got a long way to go until you start making these calls about being bearish, in my opinion, because I don't think we are. I've laid out my base case. I've gone into detail on the newsletter. I will say, to be absolutely clear with you guys, I've closed my Doge long today because I think it's more than likely that Bitcoin takes that 106k. The other side of that equation is, if I'm being completely frank with you guys, I am 100% exposed to the market, apart from the stable coins that I've got on the Doge long and a bit of stable coins that I've got to literally live off. So I've got all my XRP bag, not sold a penny, all my Flare bag, a few other little tokens like in my portfolio, like Cardano and a few other things. Excuse me. So my risk to reward of being exposed when I do think we're going to come down to 106k is not really great right now. And I'll go into Doge to be completely transparent with you guys exactly what I'm doing and what I'm playing here. I've closed my Doge long, and I'm going to reopen it. I've bid. I'll show you. I'm going to take you to the daily Doge liquidity chart. Let me just get all the liquidity on here. I'm rebidding right here. It's exactly the same discussion that we're having for Bitcoin. I'm going to have for Doge. And if I'm wrong and I've missed the trade now, I'm going to show you. Then it is what it is. I feel like that 106k gets taken. If it's on the back of a fear narrative, you know what altcoins are like. Doge could wick this. Doge could wick this level. I'm looking to enter into the trade here. You take this red liquidity is what I think Doge could do. I'm not saying it's going to just go like that, puke and go. But what I am saying is that is the best risk to reward area where all that liquidity is sitting there, because I think Doge is going to at least 110 this cycle. That is everyone's been asking me about, I hate to give price targets because if I'm wrong, I get absolutely slaughtered. I think it's going to 110 plus this cycle. I think XRP is going to $10 or 8 to 12 very easily, honestly. And I think Doge goes to at least $1 this cycle, probably more towards like 2 to 3. But 110 is the 1.618 or 117 is the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement or extension. And that's where I think it's going to go. And I'm trying to find the best entry to give the risk to reward for my trade to give me the most return. And right now, I think that there is risk based on the potential narrative, also based on the fact that gold has again set an all-time high today. That isn't something that I think is ruining crypto, but I think it's something that you should be aware of. You're looking at macro pictures as well. And I also actually think that Bitcoin bottoms are lagging gold bottoms, and I wrote about that about 3 newsletters ago. So go and check that out if you want that opinion. I can draw on that if you need it in the future. But now I hope you understand what I'm basically showing you here. With that being said, XRP's reacted pretty strongly off the lows again so far. We've held that again for the weekly close. Let me show you that. We've held it for the weekly close. So I'm not saying I'm going to be right that we are going to take this liquidity. I'm not saying that Doge is definitely going to come down. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is definitely going to come down. Lads, I'm happy clappy if we start ripping to the upside here. I'll sit here and be going, absolutely fantastic. All my spot bags are still there. Just the extra bit that I'm playing around with to try and maximize my potential returns, I've been a bit defensive with, because I think the other thing is, and this is going to be another stupid little thing to throw into sentiment, is it's token 2049 this weekend. People start to get bullish, or the next few days. People start to get bullish around there, and then they take profits throughout the event. It's normally like hype building up into it, and then when the event comes around, it's like kind of sell the news, slight event. I do normally find that happens. I do think Q4 is going to be bullish this year. I'm trying to posture for the best bid I can get on altcoins, and if I don't get it, I don't get it, but my spot bags are still there, and we're still absolutely full. I've not sold 1 penny of XRP yet. So that's how I'm positioning myself, and that's how I feel right now. I think that we need to really let the bears think that they're in control. People are capitulating all over my timeline. I am not a bear at all. But it makes sense to me that we have this little pullback and all the bears are like, see, I told you so, and blah, 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 and all this sort of stuff. And then we go up, and then we go up. And that's what I've got for you. I was going to look at Bitcoin dominance. I covered this in the newsletter. Like, I don't need to get too deep into it. Basically said that every single time Bitcoin dominance has become overbought, it's marked a top or a local top. And that's kind of where we are now. See that on the 4 hour. And I actually spoke about ETH as well on the in the weekly newsletter, saying, look, this is an interesting chart. This is the last one I'll finish on, guys, because this is another reason why I'm not bearish long term. I'm showing you just literal facts here. The last time ETH got to the same level of oversold as we are as we just were at 3,800 was the exact bottom at $1,500 or 1,459. The other times when we've dipped into the oversold area but haven't gone as low were here, here, and actually here. So they're the orange circles. And they were the local bottom at 2,200, local bottom at 3,300, and that's for a significant drop. So yes, we still are in these low periods, but look, every single time we've got into these areas for the 4-hour RSI, we have seen a significant bounce. Yet to see that for ETH, okay, we haven't seen that strong recovery yet. And things, look, I could very easily be wrong. I've written about this in the newsletter. All we have to do is start taking some of these highs and start marching back to the upside. All of a sudden, ETH's at all-time highs. And the other thing to take into this consideration in this scenario is the major liquidity below us, as I wrote about again in the newsletter, is only really on Bitcoin on the short term. There is a little bit on XRP. I'm going to show you on the hourly, but then I'll also show you the daily XRP as well. There is a little bit of liquidity below us. So that's the other thing for XRP. If you're looking to maybe enter some bids for XRP, people have been asking me where they think I should, or where they think they should layer in. Let me show you what I have here for XRP on liquidity, if this is going to load. Look, we have a little bit of red liquidity building since the lows. We didn't actually close out this whole wick, which you do often do. So maybe 267 down to 260, and there is some more at 255. So could we get this huge wick down that I'm talking about that's going to flush people out and convince bears that they're right? Maybe. Again, I'm just trying to show you a structured argument here. But then if we actually look at where all the liquidity really resides for XRP, yes, we do have some below us, but it's all up here. It's all up here. Okay? That's my base case. All these shorts, you think the market makers are going to let all these shorts win their positions? I personally don't think so. But whether we go down first and take, this is all the way down to 211, there's some red liquidity for XRP. Again, I don't know if we go down there or not. I'm not trying to be the guy who says we can't do that. I've never said that. I don't think we do that. What I do think, and what I am, is bullish. And that's the direction of travel that I think we go in. In the short term, I don't know. And I've said that since July. I've literally said exactly the same thing since July. I've said I'm bullish, but I don't know where we go in the short term. And I still feel like that. But now, one thing that I am doing is getting some big bids layered in, especially for Doge. I'm not really going to add too much more. I'm thinking about maybe adding some leverage to my XRP, but it's just so much leverage on my XRP side if it is, because I'm 95% spot XRP anyway. So I hope you understand all of my thoughts there. Please don't come on this video and say that I'm like bearish, because I couldn't be any more bullish about the market generally. And I really implore you to go and watch the Raoul Pal video. Yeah, that's it. Stay safe out there. If you're seeing like panic start to set into the market, probably be looking at putting some limit bids in. That's obviously what I'm doing, preempting the panic that isn't necessary to come. I'm not here trying to predict geopolitical events. That's not me. I'm just throwing a few things out there that I've noticed recently and coupling them up with what the charts are saying. Could be completely wrong. We could just start to rip to the upside. And if we do, I'll be out the first one on Twitter saying, yes, here we go, because I am bullish. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to read the newsletter, please go and check it out. There's a link in the description below. We're so close to 3,000 weekly subscribers on the newsletter. We have 2,971 last time I checked, so we need like literally 29 subs to get to 3,000. So if you're watching this video and you don't sub to the newsletter, please do that. Helps me out a lot. I really enjoy writing that. It's my favorite thing to do in the week at the minute. So yeah, everything being said, stay safe out there. Peace up. another thing I say is financial advice. If you want to trade in any leverage, I have a link to WeX and MEXC in the description below. Both non-KYC exchanges. Go and check them out. Nothing I say is financial advice, but if you did enjoy, please do share it with a friend. Peace up. ASAP down to Crypto Insight UK would say.